I was single for quite a long time, in the early 80s.
Thank you all for the most wonderful welcome. And also...
After years of silence, Prince Andrew's ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, has just made a shocking revelation. Whispers of hidden secrets and startling confessions are spreading like wildfire. Is she finally exposing long-buried royal truths? Speculation is running wild, and you won't believe what she's admitting. Let's dive into this royal bombshell. Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew's love story had all the elements of a royal fairy tale, but what happened behind closed doors was far from picture perfect. Their journey began long before the world knew their names. Sarah was just 12 years old when she first met Andrew, and even then, a fleeting thought crossed her mind. I'm going to marry him. Years later, fate intervened. It was Princess Diana who brought them back together in 1985, inviting Sarah to the royal ascot. Sparks flew instantly, and within just 6 months, Andrew proposed. The world watched in fascination as their whirlwind romance unfolded, creating an image of perfect love. But even before they exchanged vows, there were subtle signs that their relationship wouldn't fit the mold of a traditional royal marriage. Sarah was brimming with energy and charisma, a stark contrast to the reserved nature of royal life. While the public adored her, some within the royal circle saw her as too unconventional. Despite their deep bond, love alone wasn't enough to shield them from the challenges ahead. They had no idea that the weight of royal expectations and the relentless demands of duty would soon put their relationship to the ultimate test. When Sarah and Andrew married in 1986 at Westminster Abbey, the world came to a halt. Over 500 million people tuned in to witness what appeared to be the perfect royal love story. Sarah, dressed in an elegant gown, walked down the aisle with a radiant smile. But behind that smile was a realization: her life would never be the same again. Later, she admitted that on that very day, she gave up her anonymity. Becoming the Duchess of York meant stepping into a world of strict traditions, constant public scrutiny, and unrelenting expectations.
And I was unfortunately caught going through a door in the girls' house saying welcome.
At first, Sarah embraced her new role with enthusiasm. Her warmth and humor made her stand out, earning admiration from the public. But the very traits that made her beloved also made her a target. The media scrutinized her every move, eagerly waiting for any misstep. Still, in those early months, she held onto the belief that love would be enough to see them through. She once said, "Love conquers all." But royal life would soon put that belief to the test. Just 2 weeks after their grand wedding, reality struck. Andrew was called back to his naval duties, leaving his new bride to navigate this unfamiliar world alone. Adjusting to royal life was already daunting, but for Sarah, the real challenge was Andrew's absence. His naval career kept him constantly on the move, and before long, their fairy tale marriage had turned into a long-distance relationship. Sarah later revealed a shocking truth. During their marriage, they spent only about 40 days together each year. The rest of the time, she was left to face the pressures of royal life on her own.
Try and trick me now, because I'm not going to play this game. Delete that bit. John, can you just delete it?
While she understood Andrew's commitment to duty, the isolation was undeniable. She once admitted, "I knew he had obligations, but I couldn't help feeling abandoned at times. The loneliness was overwhelming." Unlike other royal wives who had time to adjust, Sarah was thrust into the spotlight almost immediately. And with Andrew away, she had no one to lean on. At first, she tried to make the best of it, dedicating herself to royal duties, engaging with charities, and maintaining a brave face for the cameras. But behind the scenes, cracks in their marriage were beginning to show. Would they find a way to bridge the growing distance, or had their relationship been doomed from the start? Sarah's struggles only deepened when she became pregnant with their first child, Princess Beatrice. While most expectant mothers have the comfort and support of their partners, Sarah had to navigate much of it alone.
Or Tom's work. Tom's been there for 10 years. He was the last, Street Child was the last.
Andrew's naval commitments kept him away for most of Sarah's pregnancy, and even when he was home, his visits were brief. Just 10 days after Beatrice was born, he left again. Sarah later admitted that this was one of the hardest periods of her life. She felt alone, struggling to balance motherhood with the relentless expectations of being a royal. And when she tried to express her emotions, she was met with indifference. She revealed that when she confided in palace staff about her feelings of isolation, she was simply told to get a grip. The lack of support made her question everything. Could she continue living under constant scrutiny with little emotional support? As she navigated motherhood largely on her own, the realization hit. This was not the life she had imagined when she married Andrew. And despite her efforts to make things work, the distance between them only grew. By 1992, that distance was no longer just emotional. It had become undeniable. The marriage that had once been filled with warmth and laughter was now strained under the weight of royal duties.
You kept, interestingly, apologising for interviewing me.
Public scrutiny and long separations had already taken a toll on their marriage. But while their struggles had remained mostly private, everything changed when a scandal erupted, one that would alter Sarah's life forever. It all began when shocking images surfaced in the media, capturing a moment that sent the British press into a frenzy. The photographs, taken during a private holiday, showed Sarah in a setting that immediately sparked controversy. Almost overnight, the Duchess of York went from being a struggling royal to the center of one of the decade's biggest media storms. The British tabloids wasted no time splashing the images across front pages with sensational headlines. Critics called her reckless, while royal insiders were reportedly furious. For Sarah, it wasn't just a public embarrassment, it was the final confirmation that she no longer belonged within the royal fold.
53 years old, suddenly owned that it's not a bad thing to speak.
Prince Andrew, who was away on naval duties when the story broke, was suddenly thrust into the middle of the controversy. The scandal didn't just damage Sarah's reputation, it also cast a shadow over Andrew, raising questions about his judgment and the state of their marriage. While the couple had already been facing difficulties, this moment became the breaking point. Within months, the royal family formally announced Sarah and Andrew's separation, a decision that had been building for some time but now felt inevitable. However, the way Sarah was treated in the aftermath of the scandal exposed just how quickly things could change within the royal institution. Once welcomed as a fresh and lively presence in the family, she suddenly found herself completely isolated. Reports surfaced that Queen Elizabeth had summoned her to Balmoral, where she was informed that her presence was no longer welcome in the royal household.
My deal was that I was marrying my man, who happened to be a prince and a naval officer.
The message was clear: this was not a situation the monarchy could overlook. Despite the humiliation and media frenzy, Sarah remained determined to move forward. She knew she couldn't rely on the royal family for support, so she had to carve out a new path for herself. But the transition was anything but easy. Suddenly, the woman who had once been part of one of the world's most prestigious families was left to navigate life on her own. Financial struggles soon followed, forcing Sarah to take on various projects just to sustain herself. Years later, Sarah shocked the world with an unexpected confession. If given the chance, she would marry Prince Andrew all over again. At a time when most divorced couples kept their distance, her unwavering loyalty left many people baffled. She described Andrew as a great man with a great heart and emphasized that their bond had never truly been broken. For Sarah, their relationship had never been about titles or status. It was about the deep connection they shared. Even after everything they had been through, Sarah's statement reignited discussions about their unusual post-divorce relationship. Some saw it as a testament to true devotion, while others speculated that there might be more to the story. Despite ongoing public scrutiny, Sarah has remained firm in her stance. She refuses to turn her back on Andrew. So what does this mean for their future? Could they ever rekindle their romance? Or will they remain forever connected through an unconventional friendship? Sarah Ferguson's unwavering support for Prince Andrew defies all expectations. At a time when most would choose distance, she has chosen loyalty. Their post-divorce bond is unlike anything seen in royal history. They continue to live together, support each other, and remain family despite no longer being married. Is their relationship proof that love doesn't have to end with divorce? Or is there a deeper reason why Sarah continues to stand by Andrew, no matter the circumstances? One thing is certain, Sarah's latest revelation has set the world buzzing. What do you think? Is her loyalty admirable, or does it raise more questions? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more shocking royal stories, be sure to watch our next video.